I'm fitting a glass to the roof. So the roof, I'm gonna cut out this region here. So the glass is curved, but it's not curved down the front. So the 3D model, I wanted this curved so that the contour would match the roof, which would be very expensive to have made. So it's slanted, but I think once it's inset into the seam, it will look a little better. Okay, so I cut a 1/4 inch off the top and tapered it down. It's now parallel to the side of the glass, and there's a 1/4 inch gap, so that's fine because there's going to be glue on the side. This is 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. It's set higher, but the curve of the glass should follow the curve of the roof equally. Yeah, I don't know if that's coming across on the camera, but this is going to be really flush. I think this will be, because this is straight and this curves up a bit, there might be a little wonk right there, but this should be flush. Put a layer of thin fiberglass, especially on some of the corners here. Don't want it to pull it apart in here. So I'm going to let this cure. I'm going to sand it down a little bit so that it's roughly flat, and then I'm going to paint it with a layer of epoxy and then sand that down, and that should give me a smooth surface with the fiber inside of it. To give it some extra strength, I'm going to cut off that. Same with this part. So this is not even, and that's okay, because I'm going to sand it down a little bit and then put more epoxy on to smooth it out. The first attempt with the roof and the front hood, I'm going to throw them out. I might just hang them on the walls until I get rid of them. And then these need a lot of work, and I'll get going on the roof first. So I was about to pull off the windshield mount, and I just realized that a few pieces of the fiberglass didn't actually bond. So I suspect that what happened was when I was mixing up the epoxy in the bucket, lined the edge of the cup, and as I was painting I probably scooped up a big amount of one or the other, and it caused them to kind of somewhat bond, but I basically just peeled a sheet off here, and it's soft under there. So I think I'm gonna put some more fiberglass over this top section here. This is kind of gooey. I'll just leave it as like a gooey sandwich. Leave it in the middle. Just put another layer over here. Let that cure a couple of days and then pull it off. It's 11:30. I'm just waiting for this drywall fill to fully dry before I sand it down. Probably leave about 1 millimeter, and then there will be a nice gap between the glass and the carbon piece, enough for the glue to fit through. I'm not really happy with the way that the windshield mount came out. Some of the epoxy that I used on a few of the pieces didn't cure. So it's wet, and I put on a few more layers. I think I'll pull it off and see how it goes. I may get a couple tubes, aluminum tubes, and epoxy them on to create some extra reinforcement so that when I flip it over it has something to lay on. And then I'm putting on a few layers of fiberglass on the rear bumper. Super worried that the epoxy isn't going to bind, so I'm mixing it very well. So I put 2 coats of epoxy on these rear quarter panels. So I'll let this cure for a few days, and then I'll sand it and see if I can get a smooth surface. If there are a few areas that are not smooth, then I'll just put more epoxy on and then sand it down. Bubbling up. That's fine. Right, I gotta go. It's almost tomorrow.